In this video, I'm gonna show you how much I've spent in the past 1 year owning this car, and the results are gonna shock you because they sure as hell shocked me. So the first thing I did as soon as I bought the car, I took it to service and I changed the engine oil, oil filter, gearbox oil, and the filter, the air filter. All of that together costed me around $400. And then the next day I started hearing a knocking sound from the rear end of the car. That meant I needed to change my shock mountings and the rear end of the car. That was another $100. Then I thought my car sounds too quiet, so I cut the resonators and I changed the muffler. And that costed me $350. New exhaust meant a new diffuser, and new diffuser meant I had to go all out and get a full lip kit. So that costed me around $300. And that is when my problem started. So at this point, I started getting drivetrain errors.
Yes! Drivetrain! Yes!
What happened?
What is this?
And soon we noticed that my charge pipe is very loose. And that's when I bought the FTP Motorsport charge pipe and boost pipe set. That was around $450. And then while we were changing the charge pipe and boost pipe, we noticed that my air intake hose is broken. A bunch of water and air hoses in the car are either broken or molded or rusted. So we changed all of those as well. And that was another $250 with labor. I thought that's it. There's not gonna be any issues anymore. But exactly 1 day after that, I noticed some issues with my car, so we changed out the spark plugs as well. That was $150 for the whole set. It was around this time when I encountered my first oil leak. So one day I was driving off from Max Sticker Supply because I wanted some wrap ideas for my car. I realized I don't have AC and I'm hearing a ticking noise from my engine. Perfect. I drove down to Z Auto Service only to realize that my fan belt has slightly snapped off. That small piece of fan belt that got ripped off kept hitting my AC hose and it blew my AC hose. That meant I didn't have any AC gas in my car. So it was at this time that I noticed that my shocks are not in the best condition and I've got to change them anyway. So one of my friends called me up and he told me that he's gonna upgrade his coilovers and whether I would like to take his. Knowing him, I knew that the coilovers are in perfect condition because he barely drives his car. He only had the coilovers for a year. So I took it off of his hands, and that's why I got a sweet deal of $650, including the alignment and the labor and all of that to lower my car. And I think it was one of the best purchases I've ever done on this car. Now my wheel gap is only 1 finger. I could lower it even more, but then I would not be able to drive the car. So after this, I realized that my car has a wastegate rattle and it's losing boost at high RPMs. Since it's a PWG, I didn't think too much of it until Kogu at Z Auto Service told me that I gotta either change my turbo or rebuild it. So we went the more affordable route of rebuilding the turbo first, and turns out that was a good idea because I haven't had any issues with it since. We rebuilt the turbo since the engine was off the car. We changed the engine and gearbox mounting, and all of that together came out to be $900 US. So at this point, I still got a drivetrain error after driving the car for a few weeks. So I took the car back to Z Auto and we diagnosed the car. Turns out I still have some boost leak. What did we do? Checked the diverter valve and it turned out that my diverter valve is gone. I took the opportunity to upgrade my diverter valve to GFB DV+. That was a great decision because now I get this flutter noise. I got an amazing deal with it because I still bought it off of one of my friends who bought the wrong part for his car. He bought an N20 part for his N13. So I bought it off of him for $50, just absolutely insane. And then I got a drivetrain error again. So this time we checked the car out. We realized that my vacuum lines are filled with oil. That's when we decided to change my vacuum pump, which was a great idea because it fixed a lot of my oil leaking issue. I was losing around 1 liter of oil every 2,000 kilometers. After changing that, I fixed that by around 50%. So I was losing around 500 cc of oil every 2,000 kilometers, which was amazing. Another thing we did by then, I realized that my oil level sensors are gone, so we changed the oil level sensor as well. Vacuum pump and oil level sensor, $250. After that, I started driving the car for a few months to make sure that the car has no more issues before I spend any more money on cosmetics. Around a month and a half of no more drivetrain errors, I decided to wrap this car into this color. And that was a great choice that costed me around $1,000. But it didn't take long before I have another issue with my car, which is still oil related. And then I had to change my valve cover gasket and O2 sensor, which costed me around $300. Ever since then, I haven't had any oil leaking issues. So after a few weeks, I was driving one day and I passed by from a toll and of course revved the car, and I heard shift farts that you get with these cars when you shift. I heard that, but I wasn't shifting. So I revved again and I heard it again. So I went to Z Auto Service, and while we were testing the car, my ignition coil completely blew up. I ran with 3-cylinder as a 318 instead of a 328. Back to the workshop, we changed all 4 ignition coils. It costed around $200. I haven't had any issues with those anymore. Hey, is this your car?
Is this your car?
Then one day I was driving the car and I snapped the belt. What can I do? I sent the car back to Z Auto Service and we changed the tensioner and the belt. Didn't help because not only my tensioner was gone, my pulleys were gone too. So my belt snapped again. This time we changed the pulleys as well and we put another belt on, so hopefully it won't break anymore for the 3rd time. And that costed $300. Do you need anything?
Just some photos.
These are some of the maintenance and upgrades that I've done to this car. Now let's talk about service. I've serviced this car 3 times.
So many times.
3 times. Let's say each time around $120 to $150 each. Let's just say $400 for servicing the car. I did the brakes, 4 rotors, 4 pads, and brake fluid. All Brembo. Small brake kit. That was around $400 if I'm not mistaken. The car itself costed me around $21,000, which I paid for in cash. The insurance, 2 years of insurance, another $2,000 insurance and road tax. All in $30,000 in the car, 7.5 of it being maintenance and repairs and upgrades. But the car is still stock. I haven't tuned it. I haven't done a big brake kit. I haven't done any of those. All of the things that I've done are just to make the car run better. I hope that answered your questions about this. I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, who's that?